Perfect. Alrighty. So, just to go over again what we talked about. So the company has been at 1069 for a while now. We did agree that, let me see here, 1 second. Okay. We did agree that a lot of companies out there have been lowering their wages, but they've gone out of business for the same reason because of employee dissatisfaction. So I just asked what Danielle and Melissa would like, as union workers, would like the wage to be raised to, especially because management is thinking about lowering our wages. So what do you guys think? So from what I read, normal is about, we could ask for $1 raise to 1169. And then from there we can negotiate with the company. $1 raise is normal. And then from there they're going to do their counterclaim or their counter, I'm just going to call it a counterclaim. And you're going to try to lower it from there, but we can negotiate. So would $1 be good, or?
I would start with $1, I think.
Okay. So we're going to say $1. Let me see. I just want to make sure. Yeah. So we're going to say 1169 and then negotiate from there. Now, from what I remember, do you guys remember if they're also taking away our benefits or anything like that? I can't remember.
I just remember it being like the incentive program and like
Yeah, the Me Too clause.
Yeah.
Well, and I know before they like worked together in teams to get like some sort of bonus, and so like once they reached the amount that they needed to make, then they could like go home for the day or keep working and make extra money. They took that away.
Yeah, which I don't know if we'll be able to get that back, and I don't know if we're necessary for this. Yeah, for this assignment, we're not negotiating that as much, but I can bring that up in the negotiation for sure. I think that'll be very helpful. Okay, so let's see here.
Also, the layoff, they took away the, well, they were.
Yeah, the 100 employees.
Yeah, and then there's like the 52-week layoff notice.
They took that away as well?
They're getting, like, once the contract is over, I think they said they were gonna end that. Or that was like something, maybe like a worry that they had about it. If like there was, I don't remember. There's something about that.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. I will bring that up as well in the negotiation process. I'm gonna text Sabrina and I'm gonna see if she's available. So you guys are gonna have the annoying part of having to hop off and then come back on. But let me text Sabrina to see if she's ready.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Grab a paper towel. I just picked a scab on my leg and I started bleeding everywhere.
Oh.
No.
The time when the scab gets itchy, you know? I texted. Let's see when she hops on. So we'll just talk. Might as well talk about productive stuff. How you guys doing on the doohickey assignment?
I haven't officially started. I was gonna do that after this.
For sure.
I read through the case and picked out a couple things I thought needed to be worked on.
Nice. Yeah, I did mine today as well.
Hmm.
And honestly, I enjoy doing these a lot.
Hmm.
I been lucky and been able to find really, really good sources that basically outline everything for me so I know what to talk about. So I got
That's
lucky
Yeah.
today. And I used a really good source that basically helped me create my whole solutions and everything. So that was nice. But yeah, I wrote about 2,000 words again.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what is this? Oh, so like, what is it?
So I
8 to
did
10
my,
pages.
yeah. So I total, it was about 4.5 pages that I wrote.
Okay.
Maybe 5. I can't remember.
Dang.
I know that's like half of what we have to do.
Wow.
Yeah. Which
Mhm.
is okay. I mean, he did say the more the merrier, right? More
Yeah,
words the better.
that's true.
Let's see. Yeah. Did you guys get my message?
I did.
Yeah. They might still be talking.
Yeah, they might be. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, because I think it was like supposed to be like 15 minutes you guys talk. So will we talk all? Oh, what?
Yeah. So
I thought it
it's
was just 5.
5 minutes that we talk, and then it's 20 minutes of negotiation, and then we get back on the line after we negotiate. Then when we all get back, so we'll all actually everybody will hop on my line, and then Baxter Company will read their thing that they have to read, and then we will read the thing that we have to read, and that will be about 15 minutes. So it'll be 15 minutes of silence, basically. And then we'll have 20 to 30 minutes to negotiate a final contract.
Okay.
And then after that, there'll be a debrief and end notes. Which we have to take a quiz on. That's
Yeah.
one thing I worry about is how long the contract has to be, because the normal for the write-up is for this is 1 page, but a contract just talking about a wage, I have no clue how to write 1 page on that. But we'll see.
Is it just a? Well, are we supposed to? Um. Well, let's see. So it's a write up for like the whole negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
So are we gonna add in more topics?
No, it's just supposed to be on wage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was just gonna say one thing.
Mhm.
I had to look back to see the prices for the wages exactly. The company, like in its other plants, I don't know where they're located, but with the other plants, they've decided to like drop everybody down to $9 for like a year, and then once they've hit the year, then they'll raise it up to 10, which would really suck. Like especially if you've been working at like 1069 for, I don't know if it was like 5 years or how long they've been working there, like to then get dropped down to 9 and then have to work there for a year at 9 and then go up to 10.
Yeah.
And that's what probably looking at doing that with this plant as well. So I like we haven't read the other people's like papers yet, but I'm thinking that they're probably going to want to drop it down. that low.
Yeah. So, yeah. Basically, just try to keep it to 1069 or higher.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I could bring that up as well. Thank you for that.
Well, there was some, well, I guess I already read the thing we were supposed to read during the discussion group, and they did have a way to compensate the people who had already been receiving the 1069 pay. Okay, that was done.
All right, Sabrina said almost done. Okay. Debbie should hop on here, please. All right. Perfect. All right. So, Danielle and Melissa, you can hop off for a moment, and I'll text you in to hop back on.
All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Mhm.
How's it going, Debbie?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. All righty. So let's get this meeting started.
All right.
So knowing that the union normally presents their side first, and then we'll negotiate from there.
Okay.
So from the reading, of course, we know that the business wants to lower wages just to mainly compete with other competitors out there. But we do know that those competitors have either gone out of business or lost a lot of profits because of this due to worker dissatisfaction and so forth. I know that you guys are wanting to lower everybody's wages down to $9 an hour, or a base rate of $9 an hour, and after a year to move it back up to $10 an hour. But we feel as a union that maybe even raising the wage from 1069 to 1169 would help the profits of the business even better. So that's what we want to work with. We want to move up to 1169 an hour, and we know that the workers will, or the employees will, work hard and be able to help with profits.
Okay. And what about the incentives and things like that?
So
that they're getting up to 100% of the wages.
So those incentives, which are they?
The incentives are where they get up to 100% of their wages for work done. It says, okay, once the target is met, work above that level earns incentive pay for each worker on the team. This can make the weekly paycheck up to 100% higher than base. Alternately, a worker can choose to take a break or take the rest of the day off once the team target is met. I believe the targets were set rather low for they were nearly always met, and many employees earned a substantial incentive pay. So basically, I worked out if they get $10.69 an hour and 40 hours a week, it's $427.60 is what they could make. And if they choose to stay on and work the rest of the day and get more work done, they could get another $427.60, which would be $855.20 a day.
Okay. So is that what you're wanting to do instead of raise the hourly?
Well, no, that's just what they are currently getting.
So didn't they got rid of that incentive, didn't they? Yeah. So
missed that.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Okay.
Or is that just a group incentive that they got rid of?
I'm not sure.
And did you look on the 1983 negotiation, or was that on the other one?
That's the 1978 one.
Yeah. So that incentive, all incentives got taken away.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is, yeah, it's fine. Yeah. So
Sabrina and I were confused then because we were both still in our minds with this great incentive package of what they were making.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah, so from what I know, all the incentives were taken away. The group incentive system was eliminated. Basically, all that was eliminated. And then the cost of living has gone up, but because of the Me Too clause, they're actually trying to lower the wages, and they're lowering it down to $9 an hour. And then with working 1 year, move it up to $10 an hour. But we believe that's unfair because the Me Too clause is centered on increasing wages due to keeping up with industry averages and not to lower them. And then the escalator clause excuse me, clause was intended to ensure that wages would rise with the cost of living, or with changes in competitive wages, not to lower them as well. So that's why we believe that raising our wages to $11.69 will help with productivity. It's just so that you don't have employee dissatisfaction, and that has shown as proven in the past.
Okay. Well, we were confused then because we thought the incentive program was still here, so the wage that we thought of wasn't in line with what you're talking.
Yeah,
so I'm not sure what we do there because I don't want to negotiate something that.
Yeah. So what we can do is just negotiate on a price for wages, because that's what we're supposed to negotiate on anyways.
Okay.
So we can start from $11.69 and then go from there if you want.
Okay. So 11. Didn't they get $10.69? Isn't that what the original one was?
Yeah, original was $10.69. They're wanting to move it down to $9 an hour, effective September 1983. And then raise it to $10 an hour, effective September of 1984, so after the first year. We believe that's also wrong because you're going to get a lot of employees that move from $10.69 all the way down to $9 an hour. That's going to upset a lot of employees. It could also affect retention of employees. And then moving to $10 an hour after that, it is helpful, but I mean, the fact of moving down to $9 an hour first is very detrimental.
Well, on Adam Baxter's side of things, that we're losing money and that we're not able to keep running in, is it Des Moines? Is that how you say it? And we're going to have to move out. And my fear is that 1 in 4 people get a paycheck from this company in the town. So if we close, that's going to be, you know, a quarter of the population is going to be out of work. So we feel that, you know, in order for us to stay, we need to make money. And so we need to lower the wages. However, if we, you know, if we stay in town, we need to keep the wages low so that we can actually make the money. Otherwise, we're going to have to move, and then all these employees, majority of them will not move with us due to the distance.
Yeah. So just to counter that, now the new plant, it actually is in Des Moines. And because of the employees' loyalty and hard work, the company has been doing great. They have been very profitable. Let me see here. So we can agree that we could raise wages because the company has been profitable since its new move to the new facility in Des Moines. Now because of that, we believe that $11.69 an hour would be fair for the employees.
Okay. Do I say I have to go back and talk to Sabrina, or is it we just have to agree on it?
Yeah, so what we are doing right now is we're just agreeing on a price, and then we're going to go, so everybody's going to hop back on this line. We're going to read a paper, or yeah, we're going to read something else here in a moment.
Okay.
And then we're going to agree on a final price.
Okay.
So basically, we can move up or down from $11.69. Of course, Baxter's going to want to move down somewhat, and we're as the union are going to want to move as far up as possible.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll agree on that for now until we can talk to everybody on the table then.
Okay. So $11.69. Give me 1 second here. So you're going to stay on this line, Debbie.
Yes.
Is Sabrina on? Not yet. Okay. Let's see here. Sweet, we got everybody. All right, so next step is, so if everybody goes to the discussion prep for both discussion leaders, I'm going to direct you guys first and foremost for the Baxter Corporation, there and for the Local 190, there's a reading that we are gonna read on our own in silence. So go to that page, and then you'll be able to see the URL. So go on that, and then I'm gonna give everybody 15 minutes to read the instructions, and then from there we will come back and then negotiate a final contract. And we will write that together. Okay?
So that's the Adam Baxter Company Local 190 1985 negotiation.
So it's where it says step 3, now your teams are ready for the 1985 negotiations reading. If you're the Adam Baxter Company discussion leader, direct your team to Baxter Corporation 1985 negotiations.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then for the Local 190 people, there'll be Baxter Corp 1985 negotiations as well.
Okay.
But it's for the Local 190 people. All right. Oh, and something I forgot to mention. We negotiated for 1169 for our original negotiation. So everybody knows that. Is everybody ready or need a little bit more time?
I just need a couple more minutes.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, I'm ready.
Everybody else ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. All righty. All righty. So, alrighty, so when everybody comes back, you have 20 to 30 minutes to negotiate a final contract. Now, by what we just read, it looks like the final contract is supposed to cover 3 different things: safe work environment, income, and job security. So we need to negotiate, Debbie and I, but everybody can add whatever they want in to this negotiation since everybody's here. We just need to write the contract together. Let me see here. Okay. So on our end, basically, with the new Deloitte location, as it says here, basically, from what we found is production levels are too high, so high that there's a lot of employees getting injured, which causes a lot of production or causes a lot of costs, unnecessary costs. So we would like to see production targets set at 80% of the current level, mainly so that there's less injuries, therefore helping the company not have to pay compensation in workers' comp or anything like that, and also will help retain employees as well. But what do you think, Debbie?
I think 80% is probably too much. Because it's a new plant and people are getting used to their procedures and things like that. That's why the higher increase in injuries. And it's going to change and get better once people get to know their jobs and are able to learn how to do things a different way. Though I think it's just growing pains right now, and that's going to revise.
Okay. What does everybody else think on the union?
Well, I mean, it has been 3 years since the new plant has opened. So I feel like if people were going to eventually get used to their job, it should have happened by now. And so I think production is still too fast. And they need to slow it down, the production rate.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree to that. It's not only harmful to the members' morale, it is hazardous to their health as well. Go ahead.
It's also costing the company more money too, because people have to leave work, they have to miss work because of their injuries. And so that affects the company.
Yeah, I mean, we can give a little bit of leeway, but what we're wanting here on our end is about 80% of what it is right now. But we're available to give some sort of leeway. We just want less injuries.
Could there maybe be a way to like prevent that without slowing production so much? Like maybe new policies?
Policies such as?
I don't know. What are the, did it specify anything like, is it just too much production and how they're getting hurt? Is that what it said?
Yeah, so here on our end, that's what we've noted. I don't know what it says on your end. But basically, it's because of how high the production is right now with all the new machinery that the company has added. A lot of people aren't familiar with this machinery, so it's caused injuries. Also, the machinery needs to be manned 24 hours now, so the person manning the machine cannot leave unless if they have a backup, which has also caused a lot of injuries due to fatigue and so forth. So I don't know if there's any policies that we can add to that, making sure that there's double, which I think would be not good because then, yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Sabrina?
I don't know. 80% just seems like a little bit of a high number. I do think that maybe slowing production a little bit might be justified, but I think 80% seems like a lot.
I also, we've noted that employees who were transferred over from the old plant seem to have trouble adjusting and have been resistant to the changes in the work habits that are required and the new methods of production. So we feel that might be part of the reason why people are getting injured and stuff like that, because there's animosity to the new way in the plant.
Okay. What do you think, Melissa?
Well, I know in our paper it talked a lot about how in the last 3 years they have been getting rid of older employees and hiring on new employees to try to get rid of that animosity and that culture, and also so that they won't have to pay them as much. But this is leading to more health hazards in the company because they're not getting the sufficient training from people who know how to work the machines and who know how to go through the processes that are needed. And so basically people that are new to the job are training the new employees.
We have been training, the human resources have been giving out pamphlets on work safety. Some of the so-called injuries will continue, however, as long as the Iowa's workers' compensation laws continue to provide nearly full wages to workers who file injury reports to stay at home to recover. We feel that some employees maybe are faking injuries or drawing them out because they want to get money for sitting home doing nothing. So that's bringing up of workers' comp injuries.
Okay. So let's try to come to a conclusion for a safer work environment. So if not 80%, so lowering it to 80%, would you want to lower it to 85%, 90%? What are you thinking?
I can see 90%.
Yeah, I think 90% is fine.
Okay. So move to 90%, and here on our end for the labor union, we will talk to the union about this change and how we need to improve. So we can't be resistant to change, no animosity or faking injuries, because that would break contract. Does that sound fair?
Yep.
Yeah.
Does that sound fair to the union as well?
Can I add something to that as well?
Yeah.
I think a lot of the union workers are having issues with the changes because they're used to having a little bit of say in production and what works best for them and what becomes more like the workers see firsthand what works and what doesn't. And so if the workers had a little bit of say in what was going on with production, then maybe there would be less injury, it'd be more productive. And so maybe just like allowing the workers to be able to give input to the company.
Does that sound?
We did find that was happening in the old plant, but we also felt like we lost control when the employees were able to put their own input in it, because there is so many different employees that we needed to do a standardized way of doing things.
I'm not saying like them take over completely, just give them a little bit of say so that you can hear ideas that the workers have and then implement some of those ideas that the company as a whole would work and improve the production.
I would agree with giving them partial control. How about you, Sabrina?
Sorry, my daughter just threw something in the toilet, so I ran away for a second. She threw my nail polishes in there. You said to give them a little more say in what?
A little more control in the environment that they're working in and being able to help do things a little bit differently because they know how to do the job better than us as management do.
I think you have to be careful with like that, but I mean, I'm fine with like a little bit of say.
Yeah, that's why I said with a little bit.
Yeah.
So when we say partial control, can we come to a conclusion stating that we can give input, but that through a decision board or a, what do you call it? You'll call it a decision board, depending on the votes that we can come to you know what I'm trying to say? Anybody? Probably not. I'm very confusing. So for example, there's a board, and if us as the union want something to happen, there can be a board where there can be decisions made and people vote. Does that make sense?
Like a majority vote?
Yeah, so yeah, through a majority vote, is that how a decision can be made if somebody from the union has an idea?
Is that majority vote among them, like the management?
So management and union. But
yeah, I think as long as both get like a majority vote in it.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me see here. All right, so something else that we want as the union is laying off and hiring procedures. That we know the company spends a lot of money in hiring new employees and then training them. So, and we do know that they're also laying off a lot of veteran employees. So we believe that it would be a good practice to rehire layoffs because they're already trained, they know what they're doing. And it would save a lot of money in new hires, new hire costs. What do you believe?
I think it's hard because it depends on the reason they got laid off.
Yeah, so so from what we know here on our end, in the union, they are being laid off because of the let me see here.
I feel that, we should have control of who we lay off and who we bring back, because sometimes it might be someone that isn't a good fit for the company that we lay off, and maybe we don't want to bring them back. So if you make a rule that we have to bring them back over somebody else, that makes it so we could have a bad culture by bringing someone back on that we have let go.
Yeah, so these layoffs is, from what we know, is because of the escrow account. So these employees are being laid off because they're getting paid extra from the company from the escrow account. So what we can do is maybe we can come to a conclusion that if these employees that have been laid off, if they, instead of hiring a new employee, because of all the costs that comes with hiring a new employee, you could hire a old employee and get rid of the escrow account, and then we can figure out the income that everybody's going to receive later on. Does that make sense?
Some of the employees that we have been laying off are ones that have been around forever, but they're the most difficult employees. So whether they're from the escrow account or not, it appears that some of the employees we've been letting go have been difficult workers and causing problems in the workplace.
I would say that we agree not to bring back employees that are causing problems, but where we've done a ton of layoffs when we built the new plant, we did a ton of layoffs because we didn't want to pay them the extra amount. I would say that we could try to negotiate a way to bring back those employees that got laid off, just to lay off employees to save money for the company, not the ones that are troublemakers.
How do you differentiate between that, though? If you're bound to a contract of hiring people back, how do we stipulate if we don't want a certain person back?
You could basically do like a trial period for those employees, and like tell them ahead of time if they do resist any of the new rules, then they will be fired.
I feel like it's a hard policy to put in place just because you can't really regulate it, and I do think that management should have a say in like who they lay off and who they rehire. And those people could always reapply for the job, and then knowing that they have experience, it could help their chances. But I feel like it's hard to like put a policy in place that you'd bring back people who got laid off.
Yeah, so what we're trying to ask for is that they look at the layoff list and choose from the layoff list before they look at new hires. Of course, depending on past experiences, write-ups, so on and so forth, and of course experience, then you can choose from new hire lists. But at least the company should go over the layoff list first. Just mainly so that the company can save money.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could do a grace period with layoff notices, and we're willing to have some percentage of new positions filled with layoffs. But
So when
50% is as high as we'll go.
okay, I think that's fair. What does the rest of the union say?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, so and then the grace period, would you say 90 days?
Meaning that we don't have to hire them back after 90 days?
So it's like a probation period where they have 90 days to prove themselves, and
when
if they do prove themselves, then they can stay, and if they don't, then they have to leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how long do we have to go back to hiring people back off the layoff list? No particular amount. I don't know if it says on your end or not.
No. Was it the first one 1978?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do 1978. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Now, wages. So we agreed originally for $11.69 an hour. What do you guys think, Debbie and Sabrina?
Is that with, oh, sorry, give me 1 minute.
We do feel the wages are high already. And top management have privately, hang on. We're having a hard time thinking of wages increase when our labor costs are already very high. We're still paying among the highest wages in the industry.
But you're also one of the most prosperous companies because of it. Your employees are more loyal and they're more willing to work because of it.
To a point, but we have a lot of employees that are out on workers' comp, so
Which
not,
we feel, of course, that if we lower the which we've talked about previous, lowering the production to 90% will help with the workers' comp. We could test, well, yeah, of course we can come to a conclusion, but testing it out, working at a 90% production level, we can see if that will help within, because I'm pretty sure this is just a 3-year contract. We can see if the 90% helps with that workers' compensation problem, which we believe it will. But that's what we think on our end.
keeping in mind that if we slow the production line, we're going to lose 10% of that work that we would be getting otherwise if we were at 100%. So we're losing money at that, and then we're giving more money to the employees. It seems like we're giving everything here.
Yeah. But at the same time, you're also not wasting money on workers' compensation, which could end up being a lot of profits. So from on our end, what our stats say is that for every 100 employees, there's 202 injuries. So that means that you have 2.2 injuries per one employee. So if you can lower the production, you're going to save, well, and so that you can lower the injury rate, you're going to save a lot more money in workman's comp than if you were to keep production high.
Okay. Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And so, hopefully that will work.
Yeah. So what we can do, we're willing to negotiate the wage from 1169 to maybe go a little bit lower. We just want to show employees that they're cared for. Of course, we are the highest in the industry, but especially with everything that has been going on, I feel like the company deserves to give its employees some sort of higher compensation so that they know that the company still cares for them.
Mhm.
So what are you guys willing to work with?
$11.69 might be a little bit high. I know we talked about it, and but with reducing the production line to 90%, maybe. Sabrina, what do you think of $11?
Yeah, I think that's better.
What do you guys think, Union?
If we stuck with $11, would you consider maybe some incentive pay as well for the workers who are going above and beyond?
I think just because our wages are already so much higher than other plants that I feel like adding incentives, I don't know.
We do have several people that are still getting incentive pay from many years ago in that clause.
Escrow, huh?
So that's causing us to pay out a lot of extra money already. So I don't feel we have any additional money to be giving out as incentives. And I feel that kind of program kind of got away with us and ended up to be a snowball of a lot of money lost.
So
Sorry, go ahead.
So if we got rid of the escrow account, would you guys be willing to do incentive pay for the rest of the employees?
Probably not, because getting rid of the incentive program for some, then you're going to give it to everybody, so then we're going to lose even more money. So instead of just having that one select group of people getting that incentive, you want to give incentives to all the employees.
So how are you going to motivate the employees to perform at their best?
Yeah, I think just one thing to consider is that the employees have been paid $10.69 for the last few years, and we've been the most profitable plant out of all of this company. And so I think the employees will start to get demotivated if they don't see that they're getting compensated for the extra work that they're doing compared to the other plants.
I mean, we don't want to strike, and that's why we're here.
Right, and I do get that. However, management and we have spoken about it, and that we could technically work the plant ourselves and bring in non-union workers and pay them $5 an hour. So we have already decided that this is something we could do if we can't come to an agreement that we could save a lot of money by having non-union workers. We wouldn't have to pay the incentive pay, we wouldn't have to pay increased pay, and we could keep our lines at 90%. And we're fully able to do that, lock out the employees and work. But we don't want to do this.
Okay. So, hopefully, what do you guys think, union workers? So raising the wage 31 cents to $11 an hour, do you think that's enough incentive for the rest of the labor union?
I don't know. Would you consider raising it a little bit and not include incentives?
Maybe 11.25.
I think that sounds good.
And then keep the escrow account, correct?
Yes, until those employees are gone.
Well, the escrow account, that was only to make up for that difference to keep those employees at the 1069. So would that really affect this now? Since we are above that 1069 pay?
I can't remember that. Possible.
Because, yeah, the wage was lower than 1069 for a little bit. And so for those original employees, they had the escrow account so that it would maintain that 1069 pay. And so now that we're raising the wage, I don't think it would really affect the contract.
Okay. Yeah, we'll leave it at that then. Thank you.
Mhm.
Alrighty. Perfect. So that is the end of our contract. I'm going to write this up and then I'm going to send it to, well, I'm going to submit it here on my end. But awesome, guys. Now, it does say that I need to tell you that they can read the debrief and endnotes on your own. And it's due by due date number 2, and there is a quiz to complete with it. So make sure you do that. Okay. Now, besides that, turning in the paper, I talked to Melissa and Danielle about it earlier, but so Debbie, have you been able to figure out any other topics for this?
Not really. That when I kept looking at it, I kept thinking, okay, well, we've already covered sexual harassment, so I can do discipline within the sexual harassment, but I'm not sure if that's going into. I couldn't find many things in the paper that dealt with discipline. I mean, discipline maybe of management not choosing people properly, or I don't know. Sabrina, did you come up with any ideas on discipline?
So did you already do discipline or not yet?
Well, I did one, but we have to have the problems discipline, and we have to come up with 4 ideas under discipline.
Okay. Did you use the discipline without punishment paper yet?
Yeah. Yes.
You did? Okay. I haven't got a chance to start it yet, but I'll definitely look tonight. Just 4 different things under discipline is what you're talking about, right?
Right. And I only came up with 1, and like I said, I don't know. I'm confused because we've already used sexual harassment, but if we do discipline within the sexual harassment, if that suffices or not.
Right. I don't see why we wouldn't be able to use it for 1.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
I think it'd be fine to just cover a little bit.
Because I don't recall reading that section of it, whether you guys went into disciplinary action if there was sexual harassment done, or if you just were, training against sexual harassment and what to do if someone did sexual harass somebody, maybe didn't go into the entity of laying or writing people up or firing them or having time off.
No.
Who did sexual harassment before?
We didn't touch sexual harassment, actually.
Okay, so then we're totally cool with it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Okay.
works.
And then I don't know of any other 2 disciplines that we can do. It just seemed like when I was looking at rereading it, a lot of the stuff we're doing the last 3 weeks, there's not a lot of things on there other than benefits. It seemed like a lot on there.
Yeah.
But discipline-wise, I couldn't really see too many
Yeah.
that fit in that category.
Did you talk about termination at all?
In mine, let's see.
You
I
could,
basically
you
talked
could,
about not working productively enough and the steps to either getting someone to work productively or letting them go in the end. So that was just that one entity of things. And that can encompass that.
Did you put yours in the Google Doc?
Yeah, it's in the Google Doc.
Okay, so I'll just read over what you have already and then try to find different things online and like good sources on other things we can do under discipline.
Well, I know there's a lot of things we can do under discipline, but it doesn't have to be something that we're disciplining somebody from doohickeys and have to find a problem in doohickeys, and that's the reason we're doing the doohickey case study, and it should be referring to that.
So it doesn't, so it does refer to it, but it doesn't necessarily, you don't have to necessarily point out specific points for every single solution. For example, I did organized labor, and my solution one was understand the relationship between management and organized labor. So I didn't talk about, actually, I don't think I talked about it at all in this section, but I talked about how management can apply principles.
Mhm.
But what I was thinking is you could even, this is just an idea, but split it up to solution one, verbal warning, solution two, written warning, solution three, final written warning, solution four, termination, and then talk about each procedure for each and the reason why. I don't know. That's an idea.
Yeah.
And like the overall like problem could be that you don't have like a policy in place for how to go through like discipline, I guess, like how to create a policy for that, and then like have each position like Sherwood explain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because just when I think about it, like we are the HR manager, and we're supposed to be giving points to doohickeys, what we feel doohickeys needs to be fixing in the place. So that's what I think this document is supposed to be. So that's a good idea to split that in four. But I think all our problems and our solutions are supposed to be geared towards this doohickey case, I think. So that's where I get confused, Jack. I'm like, I keep trying to go focused on that, but it didn't seem like there's many things in that case.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
just,
we'll do cool stuff from wherever.
yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. So, I don't know what,
We'll figure it out.
okay.
When do we have to have it done by? Because obviously I don't have it done by today.
No,
I've got to do that section.
I think we said Saturday again at around 12 p.m.
Yeah. All right, I have to hop off, guys. If you talk about anything important, will you text me?
Yeah. I think
Okay.
we're done anyways. But, so yeah, so Saturday by 12 p.m., we're going to submit everything. And Sabrina, you'll just submit it that night.
That sounds good. And then are we going to do the same thing where we do like our portion of the conclusion and
Yeah.
the citing sources?
Yep.
Okay. Sweet.
Do we have any specific way we want to do the introduction? Which should be first, second, third?
So I think, I don't know. That's hard. So I did mine on organized labor because I found that I could write the most about it.
Mm-hmm.
And organized labor, I think is super important, especially for industry.
Okay.
But employee benefits are also very important. In discipline, I wouldn't say it would be number one.
Okay.
So I think it would be in between employee benefits and organized labor. But what do you guys think?
I would think most people go to a job because of the benefits and their pay and all those kind of things first.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll do employee benefits first.
What does everybody else think?
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Okay, so do 1 and then 2 organized labor and 3 discipline.
Yeah.
Okay, put that in the introduction. Thank you.
Okay. Perfect. Alrighty, guys. Thank you much. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye.
Alrighty. Bye.
Bye.